And just like that, we are back with, let me turn this off, sorry. We are back with another Savage stream. Today we have like a really, this is, it's a huge surprise. I mean, it's not really a surprise. We've been talking about it all week. We set this up last week, I believe. And just keep in mind that this is their first live stream in English, and it's my first live stream with guests. I mean, yeah, we did the Veta frame build contest, but that was a little bit different because it was being hosted by someone else. So this is the first time I've hosted anyone on the live stream, so it might be a little bit clunky. Just bear with us. I had to set up all kinds of stuff here to make this work and to make it be somewhat smooth operating and looking. So just give me a little bit of time to work through things, like if I don't have a mic on that needs to be on or something like that. Okay, so let's get it right into it. I'm going to bring them in just a minute, but first I want to talk about a couple of other things here real quick. Not other things, but it's got to do with the project. So 2 years ago today, one of my favorite projects launched their mainnet. I talk about Conceal a lot on this channel, but what makes the project one that I like to publicly support is probably the main thing is most of the team members have firm roots in crypto mining, and they developed Conceal around private transactions and communications through proof of work consensus mechanism, which I'm a big fan of privacy coins in general, but this one just stood out as a solid development team and something I always keep my eye on. The development of the project is not to just be loyal to miners, though. You know, some projects kind of fall into that category of we need to create something that people can mine, and that's not really the right attitude or right goal. They didn't develop, Conceal just to give miners something to do. They also have an in-depth knowledge of financial markets, specifically their weaknesses with regard to fiat currency. They have 4 main pillars that drive the development of the project. Those pillars are privacy, social inclusion, decentralization, and censorship resistance. And if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I'm a big supporter of Conceal, and you probably already know all this stuff, but I thought that it was a true honor and really a significant event to have them on the stream, and I think that this is going to be really cool. Some other really cool things about Conceal, especially when it comes to mining and transacting. Conceal has no founders rewards. 100% of the mining block rewards go to the miners. They have a remarkable long-term mining reward schedule that we'll hopefully talk about today, at least maybe at the end. They also have their own proof of work algorithm called Kryptonite Conceal that's supported by quite a few mining programs like Crypto Dredge, Team Red Miner, XMR Stack, and all those Kryptonite mining programs. So the main features of Conceal, this is their Explorer, and this is their block 0, so it shows the date. Truly an honor here because it is literally their second birthday. 5/23 of 2018 was whenever the block 0 hit, Genesis block, and here we are today, 500,000+ blocks later. So super cool. Yeah, totally digging it. All right, so the main features of Conceal are decentralized private banking, private transactions, and encrypted messaging. That's what they focus on. And you probably already know that because you've been watching, most of you have been watching my channel for a while, so I've done basically the past full week on Conceal with different things, mostly mining related, with different OSs and stuff, but I've done plenty of content on Conceal. It's probably the project that I've done the most on, if I was to guess. I didn't look at the numbers, but I'm pretty sure that they're way up there if they're not number 1. So without further ado, let's bring on the Conceal team. What we'll do is I'll just bring them on. There, you can kind of see them there on the screen already in the Discord window there. But I'm going to bring them on, and then we'll go through some questions that we have here, and then at the end, after I want it to be really informal. To be honest, I don't want to have these structured questions. We'll just kind of play this by ear and kind of go with the flow and make it relaxed and everything like that. So hopefully this works out. All right, so let's go ahead and then at the end, maybe in the chat, we can get to some questions from the viewers and stuff like that. Okay, so let's do this. Let's see, how should I set this up correctly? I think that what I'll do is make sure I got my audio on. Again, this is the somewhat clunky part. Just give me a second. I think I have that set up right. Hey, what is going on, guys?
Everything is right.
Hey, okay.
What's up?
Hello, how you doing?
All right, so everybody in the chat, let me know if you can hear the team there. Make sure that you can hear them. Just say yes or something like that in the chat, just to make sure. It looks like on my end everything should be good.
Yeah, we're here.
All right, so 0x, go ahead and do a little bit of introduction here of the team, I guess. That would probably be a good start.
Okay, all right. So we have met online in different forums and places on the internet. A few interests in common, like privacy, decentralization, human rights, and we end up here basically after the big bull run in 2017. We had a few people already working on materializing the idea of having a privacy coin, and during the bull run we start gathering more people, and in a few months from January to 2018 until April we have the proof of concept and the testnet running. So I will say that Conceal team, it comes from different places, but we have the same values. At least we fight for privacy and decentralization, and that's what was to be part of this community, and that's it. Not much to add.
Okay, awesome. I was dealing with some audio stuff there. Thanks so much for that intro. So, you know, there's pretty much some basic questions, you know, like how did you get started in cryptocurrency? I think that's probably what we're going to start with, because it's always interesting to hear everybody's backstories with how they got interested. Mine is not so, you know, interesting, but, you know, some people find it interesting, and I've talked about it on the show before. I'm not going to take that stage. You guys take it. Go ahead, 0x. How did you get involved in cryptocurrency?
Sure. Some people think I was a pioneer on cryptocurrency. That's a wrong idea. Personally, I think I started quite late, because my first contact with cryptocurrency was on 2011. Oh, it was almost 2 years after Satoshi launched the coin. And so in January 2011, as soon as I read the Bitcoin white paper, I fell in love by the idea, because it represented everything that I fought since the 90s. So, and idea of getting back power to people and having a decentralized economy always fascinated me. So I started exploring about the code, not mining, by the way. Maybe my setup was just a basic laptop, and even at the time it was not so easy to find a block. So, and I was in touch, but I got really involved like much later. So, and let's say in 2014, It's when I really start like coding and trying like to understand deeper cryptocurrencies and Ethereum. Then I Monero, and that's it. So I'll say like I started in 2011, but it was from 2014, and with Mt. Gox stack that I start to get like more interest in the technical part and all details about cryptocurrencies. I even start trading in 2014. So let's say before that, it was just a generalistic interest because I identify myself with the movement. In the beginning, we could feel like it was a movement, and now it's something more than a movement. It's something real with real applications. So at the time, it was quite, let's say, people exploring one idea. Now something that exists on real life. So I'm quite happy that Bitcoin succeeded after 10 years and we cannot live without it anymore.
Right on. How
That
about...
was my contact.
Yeah, right on.
That's why I started.
How about you, Boot to Thrill?
For me, it was probably in early 2017. I didn't know anything about cryptocurrency. I had some that I worked with that had talked about Bitcoin at one point, and I didn't understand it at the beginning. And then 2017 rolled around, and I went to a party and was having crawfish, which it's kind of a southern thing. And we're sitting there talking and we're eating, and a gentleman that lived near where I lived started talking about mining. And I didn't understand what he meant at first. I thought it was like actual mining for coal or something like that. And we got to talking, and he seemed very excited about this mining business. And he invited me over to show me his setup, and man, I was blown away. I was so interested at that point that he got me very excited about the mining part of it. And within a month, I had bought everything to set up my first mining rig and started mining probably about May, June of that year of 2017. And I was hooked. I mean, I think I can't speak for everyone on the team, but the mining aspect of it was so interesting to me. I love building rigs, and I think that's what really got me started was getting those GPUs in the house, taking everything out of the boxes, putting it together, and I found my passion for crypto as a miner.
Yeah, that's pretty much kind of what happened to me. Not necessarily the crawfish boil, but yeah, it was similar in my case. What about you, Hash?
Thanks for having me on, first of all. And I started with a friend back in 2010, 2011, who was very excited about crypto and Bitcoin at the time. And he was mining in his house with some GPUs, if I recall correctly. And I didn't know too much about it. We worked together as software developers at the time. And he continued to just grow my interest and understanding in it. And I eventually became more of an investor than a miner in the early days, I suppose. And after some period of time, I got busy with life and my career, and I kind of waned from the crypto scene for a few years. And that's putting it in a nutshell, of course. But in that period of time before my interest waned, I would say that I mined, and then I guess script coins came along, right? And script ASIC miners and different things. And I bought into some of those and played with those. And I ran a mining pool for some mining coin, some coin that is actually gone now, I believe, or if it's not, it's at least pretty well unused. And then I got away from it for a while and got focused on my career, not for lack of interest, but just for lack of time. And when I came back to it, I had a keen interest in the privacy side of crypto, and I had also an interest in the actual crypto and the technical functionality of crypto at that point, even deeper than I did my first time around. Mostly driven by my more advanced development skills from years working as a developer and as a security practitioner. And I looked around and went through quite a lot of coins before I found Conceal, and I started out, both investing and mining with Conceal, last year. So I'm one of probably the newer team members here on this call, and I really started out with mining. I've built up quite a robust little mining rig in my house here, as much as my house can fit, for Conceal. And I joined the team, obviously, last year to continue to help build what they're doing, because I found that the mission and the team with Conceal was unrivaled when I compared it to the other coins that have similar feature sets that I was able to come across.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's always nice to see a project that can build, during the down market. And I say that about you guys all the time. It's like that speaks volumes, whenever a team can keep pressing forward, even though things aren't looking great in the overall market. What about you, Okan?
Hi, thanks for having us, first of all. And I got involved, when I was a student in the last class in university. I was working as a freelancer, and I was having some jobs, somebody offered me Bitcoins, and at that time I didn't know what was it, so I just looked into it, and I said, okay, it seems interesting, and I started to mine, Bitcoins in the early days. But then my hard drive failed. I didn't mine that much, actually, but I lost them, and then I lost the interest, to Bitcoin. And then in 2016 or 15, my wife, when we got married, she said, okay, maybe we can invest in some Ethereum or Bitcoins, and then I just rejected and said that, I don't know what this is all about very well, so I just need to get into it. And then I started to research more about mining. So, mining was a hobby to me, and I just built some rigs for mining. And I started mining privacy coins, because I really like the idea and ideology behind the privacy coins. So, I was just mining privacy coins one by one. That's how I met with Conceal as well. So that's my story.
Right on. What about you, Taegus?
Hello. First of all, I'm really glad to be here. My story is, I don't know, a little bit different probably, but I entered the crypto space very late, because I always saw crypto as something like stocks, and I always hated all the money around the stocks and all the manipulation and stuff like that, So I was just staying away, basically. I didn't really bother to look deeper into it. So then actually my mother-in-law was bugging me to check crypto for, I don't know, probably a year. And I was always like, I'm going to do it, but give me some time, something like that, because I didn't really want to. But she was smelling money in it, she has this nose for money. And then basically I gave up at the worst possible time. This was February 2018. So basically at the start of the bear market, at the peak, basically. I gave up, and I bought 2 or 3 very overpriced graphic cards at the worst possible moment, and put together my first mining rig. But even though they were overpriced and the prices were going down, I was hooked, to mining. It was something that I could relate to. It was a technical thing. It was interesting to do and learn at the same time, So then I bought some more GPUs, and I was spec mining all kind of coins. And later on, I started digging deeper into the projects to see if they are okay to mine, if they have some value behind them. And I started to actually dive deeper into the technology behind the blockchain. And then I don't know when that was, but I think end of 2018, I decided to actually start contributing, because I was slowly getting to really like the idea and the ideology behind the blockchain. Like you're taking control over your finances. You are basically doing the decentralization of monetary systems and stuff like that, And then I started to write some code for different projects. And after I found Conceal, I was mining it for some time, and I was more and more impressed with what they had there, And the team seemed really capable, and I really liked what I saw. So I approached them and asked if they need any help with anything. And so it's all started, I started doing some small work at the beginning, and soon after then I joined the team as a member, and this has been like a year and a few months back. It was I think I joined March 2019, yeah. And the rest is history, basically.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's always really cool to hear everybody's backstories. You guys kind of covered, how you got started, plus how you got involved with Conceal, so that's good. Now, what do you think the features of Conceal are that sets it apart from all the other thousands of projects that are out there, specifically privacy coins, but basically what sets your coin or in your project apart from those?
Definitely, I would say the tokenomics behind Conceal. We have the low emission curve, the mining block rewards curve. Basically, I don't know any other coin where the block rewards keep increasing. Of course, will not increase forever. So as soon as we reach the peak, we're gonna start lowering down again the rewards. That's one of the main differences between us and any other coin, privacy protect or not. So it's a big difference. It's something unique. Our emission curve and our tokenomics behind the deposits. So we are not the only coin where users get interest rates. But we do it using cold stacking, so hash time locked contracts, and the interest rates have been studied for ages. And after loads of simulations and analyzing all the economic aspects of the ecosystem, we have something unique. You will not find a coin mineable for more than 100 years paying block rewards, and with more than 30 years, at least 30 years of compound interest. And this based in our current tokenomics. So because if future generations would like to optimize it or add something, they will still be able to do it for consensus. Then we have a unified fee. As you know, it's the same to send any kind of transaction. Any amount of funds, you will pay the same fee. So we are eliminating loads of metadata for the messages. So we opt for 240 characters messages, and with a unified standard fee, is the same fee. So that's quite a big difference from any other project. And in terms of privacy, like some people call us purists, but the truth is we stick to the original crypto node. So in terms of transparency of the blockchain, what's going on, we opt in for stealth addresses and ring signatures. So we haven't adopted confidential transactions of the ring city, mainly because we want people to be able to notice any abnormality in the ecosystem, and we want people to be able to verify the supplies involved, and if something is wrong with the network, so it'll be easier identifiable and using other protocols and features on top of CryptoNode. And I think those are the main reasons, main features that make us different from other coins. Then other one I can't ignore as well is like miners are the base of our community. Before being a coin or a project, we are a community. So not only spec miners, but curious people, like we have veterans, we have newbies, we have all kind of people mining. So there was a big concern in listen to the community, and it was something natural, like thinking in the project in a miner's point of view. So that's why we have the block rewards increasing. We have studied like in the timeline of a coin when you're gonna need more work done by the miners. So that's why the rewards go up then when we're gonna have enough miners. We're gonna start going down, and it takes in account as well the market value. So everything gonna be balanced. There is harmony, economic in all the ecosystem, and that's why we put so much love and work in our mining algo as well. So instead of using any random mining algorithm, we decide to invest in having algorithm as decentralized as possible, fair, and that allows like all kind of cards you to mine it, and you can even mine CCX with the CPU as well. So I think all this kindness and love we are getting back for our community is mainly because like we have a unique project, a unique team and community that everyone can participate. And if I need to choose all these differences from other projects, I will say community, like the way everybody participates in the project, and as proof, everyone step up from the community, every team member, including myself. So I'm just the founder because one needed to step up and lead the people. At the time when we start, we were like 16 people in a Discord server. So yeah, that's it. And I think these ones are the main characteristics and features that distinguish Conceal from other projects. And if any other team member would like to add anything to it, please be my guest.
Yeah, actually, if I may, I would like to really focus on our community. I know a lot of projects claim that they're community projects, but I think Conceal is really, has really proven in these 2 years that we are a true community project. For instance, we were basically all the time, Conceal was in a bear market. We never saw a bull run till now. And in all this time, we never stopped. We always worked. The community was always beside supporting us, and we are really grateful for that, because without them, this project would be nothing. We are not building things for ourselves. We're building things for people to use. And we really value how good the community is. For instance, recently in the last 3-4 months, basically, 2 members that are now visually and really contributing to the project joined. By this I mean Hash of Zor and Boot to Trill. They were both community members, and they decided to step up, and start contributing by actually doing something and giving back to the project. And I think their contributions are really invaluable. I mean, Boot is writing fantastic articles now and doing all other kind of things and helping Okan, and Cash just finished the webpage redesign, and I mean a lot of people really like that. It's a fantastic redesign of the page, and I think this is something that not a lot of other projects have, and also we have this consensus each year where everybody can vote on in which direction the project will go, and so we actually do listen to that. What was voted upon last year is basically things that we are working on for the whole of this year. Something we already did, and some things we are still working on. And also, I mean, the dedication from the team members is also clearly visible. I was impressed because this happened before I joined, but I need to remember everyone again that when the Maple Exchange was hacked, there was a lot of CCX lost at that time, and a lot of people lost a lot of CCX, and the team reimbursed and gave all the lost CCX back to everyone who lost them. This was not their obligation at the time, because we are not responsible for what exchanges are doing. We cannot be responsible for their negligence in security measures. But we still feel I was not there at the time, but they were feeling with the community members. So they gave all their funds back. I never heard of any project doing that. So I think this speaks volumes for how dedicated everything is in Conceal to the community. And the community, on the other hand, is giving us back support and their love. So I cannot be more grateful for the people we are having around, and for the long-time members that are here for 2 years now and supporting us on every step. This is priceless, in my opinion.
I agree 100%.
If I may, one of the things for me when I started to try to get more involved, I noticed that there is actually a very specific structure and how a community member can become a team member. And that was something that was very unique. It's almost like a career path to become a team member that Conceal has. And I think that's pretty unique. When I first started, I was just strictly a spec miner. I was looking for a solid project that I could point my rigs to and mine some coins. And I did my due diligence. I went and looked at, probably hundreds of projects at the time, reading white papers and doing all the normal things, looking at teams. And I had ended up looking at Conceal and realized that it was something that was very unique. And then I started to get a little bit more background on the team members and their ideas. And I gravitated to them. I really thought that they had something special. So flash forward, I'd been mining Conceal for probably 2 years now. And I felt like it was time for me to step up to help the project, because it's something that's very, very unique. And so they have a way to be able to contribute. There's actually a group for Conceal called the Contributors, and that's basically like the first step. And then you have collaborators, which is the second step. And there you can prove yourself almost as a career path to become a team member. And that's very unique because it gives the team members a chance to get to know you. It gives them a little bit of background, on you before you become a team member. So it's not like you automatically become a team member. You have to prove yourself. And I think that's pretty unique.
Yeah, there are some teams, especially smaller projects and teams, that are a little bit too eager to bring on anybody willing to help. So it's really nice to hear that Conceal has at least some type of a roadmap, for getting someone on board. That's really that's a good thing to hear.
Yeah, we actually were burned a couple of times, in the past with bringing people on board too fast, and we learned from our mistakes. So now we are a lot more careful, because if you bring people in too fast, you can then have trouble and problems later. So what Booth said is now a very detailed process of verifying people and basically testing them before they become a core team member. We call the core team member is somebody that is basically in the permanent team, and the others are then contributors and collaborators, and this is different levels of or stages from where you progress, and then you finally can get to the core team. And it's the core team members, they carry certain responsibilities, so it's not a title to be taken lightly,
Exactly, like being contributor or collaborator doesn't mean like there is a hierarchy or different levels of contributing or participating in the project, in the backstage. But some people prefer like not step up, because if you reach the core team, you have another level of responsibility and commitment with the cause. So, and some people, they contribute a lot. And recently, we have a couple of new people. Daily developer Litif, for instance, he's like constantly pushing releases and new commits, and like he doesn't want to step up because basically it will break like this magic of like everyone can contribute to the cause, to the project, what is able to do it without any pressing. And we would like as well to keep like the best conditions for everybody. So if one person can contribute more than other one, it's totally understandable. And if someone cannot commit so much like as the core team members, we understand that. So that's the way to keep the project open to everyone. So every person, every community member can participate as much as possible with personal circumstances. So that's how we work. So not every contributor or collaborator like is there because like doesn't have skills or we don't trust it enough to step up to the team. Like some of them, like they are not in the team because they don't have like enough time to, or they don't want to take as much responsibility as the core team, and that's it.
Right on. Yeah, one of the things that caught my eye about Conceal back in 2018 was the consensus, the community consensus, and I missed the first one, I guess, and because I guess it was right after it ended, and I was looking into it, and I'm like, oh, this is really cool because you guys actually involve the community, and it's not just a facade, it's not just out there. Just saying that you support the community or you allow the community to contribute. So it was really nice to see that.
And beside the annual consensus, we have as well extraordinary consensus, and constantly, permanently, we have a channel where a community member propose ideas, and let's say at least, I cannot give a accurate number, but I believe more than 2/3 of the ideas proposed by the community have been implemented in our technology, in our products or services. And if you pay us a visit in Discord, you can have a look at the ideas channel, and that's it. And you can see live how community members can interact with the team. How can their ideas that materialize in the live chain?
Yeah, for all the viewers here, if you're not familiar, their Discord they're always in the Discord, willing to help everybody. They're always in there. They use Discord almost exclusively. I think there's some Telegram stuff as well. But if you needed support for whatever reason, hit up their Discord because they're always available in there. Having people across the globe like they do, you know, the time zones, someone's always available, so it works out really well. One of the things you mentioned earlier was, you know, being able to survive through the bear market and keep on, you know, trucking and keep on developing. And one of the things that I think that people should know is about the fund that has been set aside for this type of thing. Can you talk about that a little bit?
The fund the funds for the project, definitely. So in 2017, when we started conversations about starting a project, we were not happy with any project we have invested. And when I say invested, I'm not talking about trading or money, because most of us were spec miners and people related to IT, technology, graphic. So we were looking forward to have a in promoting privacy, decentralization, social inclusion. So, and after analyzing projects we were more close as contributors, as investors, as miners, we realized 80% of the projects we knew at the time, they haven't succeeded because lack of funds, bad planning, very bad planning. So at some point in time, those projects we are talking about projects with some potential, technologically speaking, not in terms of markets, but technologically speaking, those projects have potential, have some innovation. Some of them, they were originals. They were not forks. They have own technology, and they fail. They fail because at some point in time, there was no funds to keep the development. And some people say, yeah, but so you are part of the cryptocurrency project to make money. It's not about making money. If you are giving 3 or 4 hours of your daily time, is 3 or 4 hours that will not be with your family, or that you cannot have a second job, or that you cannot dedicate to your daily job. So, and you have rent to pay, you need to feed yourself, so it's understandable. And even to get some talent, you need to pay for it as well. We have a couple of situations that we need like professional people stepping in, giving a hand. So, and we cannot play with people's time, and time is money. It's not only the money people invest. So you need to have a solid team and solid professionals that know what they are doing, and they take the commitment and responsibility to keep the chain live and safe and sound. So, and we realize 80% of the projects we have invested time and money, and failed because at some point there was no one keep working on the project. So the development stopped or almost stopped. And in some drastic cases, it was the community that needed to take front of the project. And we are talking about some projects they had like ICO, or they raised money, and others with premine, and at the end, like the community needed to take the front, taking over the project to the development. So when it started, we decide why not then to have managed by the community, and we're gonna decide the terms together and introduce mechanisms of audit. And why not the community start project by themselves? Why to pick wait projects to fail to take them over, and not to have our project well planned from the beginning? So some team members were against the premine. Technical speaking, by the way, is not a premine. Funds have been mined as any other block, are not hard-coded. The community has been patient. They waited like 10 hours for that block to be mined. And it was been voted by the community, and terms have been decided, and we have stick to it, to those terms. At some point, I believe 1 year after we start the project, 1 year after the mainnet last year, we had a few outsiders coming to our project, and they criticized quite a lot the fact that we had funds. They couldn't understand that those funds are not for the team or for us individually. So those funds are to grant that the project has constant development and constant working on it, and even to grant the future development by the next generation of concealers, keep going development and maintenance of the project. And there are permanent expenses and costs as well, because we need to have seed nodes, we need to have Block Explorer working. So like we have server expenses, we need to keep the websites online, and domains and certificates. So, and it doesn't make sense like people paying for their own pockets, like to all these costs. So we as a community, we concealers, have a fund for our project. Simple as. There is no big deal about it. So we have a project that we are managing according to the terms defined before launching the mainnet. And I think 1 year and a half ago, we had some people jumping in the community and proposing like to lock those funds with so that means once locked, only time to unlock it. That's what we have done. So from the initial funds, we have locked 8 millions that are every quarter released in small bunches. And all the funds are auditable by anyone. So there is balance proof keys. There is a wallet address that can be auditable by any member of the community. Make it easier for people not so tech savvy, we have a link that runs commands to verify on the Explorer. But if that person has some technical knowledge, download JSON and use the wallet and balance proof keys, verify manually on the command line or even on the Explorer. There is a feature that allows to audit the community wallet. Please feel free if you have any questions, Savage.
Yeah, I'm actually, I don't know if you can see my screen, but I was bringing up the the website and showing the funds distribution and all that kind of stuff as you were talking there.
Yeah, I'm seeing now because there is a little delay. I will not say little. There is quite a delay, at least on my computer.
Right.
On my computer, between the YouTube and Discord. Discord is like almost instantaneous, and on video it takes a while to get there. But yes, and if you go up, you could verify the funds, and if you download that info, you're gonna download the key. Yeah, there is a button to verify the funds, and if you download this JSON, you're gonna get the key and the address that will allow you to verify the funds. Let me check here. Explorer. So once in the Explorer, in Tools, you have a balance proof. The balance proof, if you place the address of the wallet and the signature, you can verify the funds. So
Yeah, that was one thing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
yes,
Yeah, I
you're
can.
right.
When I first joined the team, that was one of the things that I wanted to get a better feel for, was the way that the community fund is managed and then how it's spent. And I have a background in finance and accounting, and that was obviously the first thing I wanted to go and investigate when I first started being part of the team. And that was another thing that was very unique in the way that they manage the community funds. They're very strict, and they're very savvy in not spending community funds unless it's absolutely necessary. And that was another thing. They're very physically responsible to the community, and that's something that you don't see, that they're very critical in what they do spend it for. And I can tell you that the amount of effort that's being placed by each team member is in relation to what they get month to month. It doesn't even make sense. It's the amount of work that they put in is not 4 hours a day. It's some cases 8 to 10, 12 hours a day in some cases. So the reward based on the effort obviously is very, very low, and that's the thing that really interested me, was that they are very specific about how they manage that money and how it's spent, and that's unique. That's another thing that is very different from other projects that I've seen. If you've run a business, which I've run several businesses, you have to have capital, and in order for things like infrastructure and salaries, those things need to be kept going while the business takes place. And if you don't have an investment, then what happens is you turn around and you start having to ask for donations from the community and or from private investors, and then it doesn't keep the same essence of what the project originally started as, which is a community-run project. And so for me, that was something that was very important, was to see that there was this thought process to have a fund for the community, managed by the community, so that the project would continually run, for the rest of the time, even after the core project team right now is gone and other people have come to manage the project in 20, 25, 30 years from now. That they had enough foresight to do that. I think that's pretty unique.
Yeah, I would like to add some things here also, because this premine quotes, basically our funds are constantly being not questioned by our community, but from fathers and from haters from, I don't know, outside. And I understand that some people, they're reluctant to invest, maybe because, or they were burned by some bad projects with pre-mined funds or something like that in the past. But I mean, we really tried to do things as transparent as possible. And this is not an easy task if you're being a privacy project, because being a privacy project also means that it's hard to provide proof that you have something on your project fund account. And we went extra length to first lock our funds and that they are only released by quarters. And second, that we actually put time to implement the code that makes our funds verifiable. So anybody at any time can verify them. If they don't trust our Explorer, they have the 100% open source code, and they can download the code, run it themselves, and check through the debugger that everything is working as we say it's working, So we cannot cheat here. Then also, every expense is being noted and every expense is being transparently put into our spreadsheet on the Explorer. So basically, every CCX ever spent is can directly be seen on our funding page. And one really important distinction that I really have to explain to a lot of people is that these are not like my funds or our funds. Like these are not team funds. These are the project and the community funds. So it's not like the team owns them. The project owns them, and as the project is a community-based project, basically the whole community owns those funds. But somebody has to be responsible and manage the funds and watch out for expenses and stuff like that if we want to operate for the next 50 and 100 years, like our tokenomics shows. So in that order, we are currently the ones that are managing them, and it's not like the team is closed. Like I said, recently 2 guys stepped in from the community. Basically, everyone has this chance. If they have something to contribute and if they have the will and the expertise to do that, they can join in. They can also will get paid exactly the same way like everybody who is working on the team does. Also, we had a lot of situations where we were approached by certain peoples. Some of them were from the community too in the past, and they offered to help. But then when it came to how much they will be paid for their work, they had this totally unrealistic expectations. They were thinking that we are paid some crazy sums of money. And when we actually told them how much they will get, the talks ended very fast, because most of us that work on Conceal, we don't work for money. I have 15 years and more of development experience, and I'm sure I could get a lot more money doing probably some freelancing jobs or something like that. But I decided that it's a lot better for me to work on Conceal. I'm doing it for 2 reasons: because I love the project, because I really think it can change the financial system and the financial landscape and give people opportunity, to be their own bank and to be their own financial masters. This is one thing. And the other thing is that I can learn new technologies and new tools, so that is something that will later help me in my job, in my career, and things like that. So that's benefits enough for me, I don't require some large sums of money to work on the project. I really don't. And if that was the case, I think most of us would not be with Conceal anymore after these prices we had recently, because as you know, the prices right now were quite ridiculous. So that's my point of view.
Actually, I would like to add something also. The most fascinating thing for me, Conceal is a privacy project, but it's very transparent about its funds. This really fascinates me because as a privacy coin, people usually expect that we need to hide everything, and just being as transparent as we are now, it really, I think, attracts people, and it gives confidence because anyone can anytime audit the funds. I think it's a great thing for a privacy project.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think the days of expecting a team to work for free, though we passed that a few years ago where that was even a possibility. So it's really awesome to see, you know, a team actually talking about that specific thing, because it's just unrealistic to think that everybody should work for free. And I say that all the time on the channel, and you guys just exemplify that. So thanks for that part. Much appreciated.
I would just like to say just one more sentence. If somebody thinks that Bitcoin developers are working for free, that guy is really mistaken, because all the Bitcoin developers are backed up by strong companies like I can't remember. Yeah, exactly. Most of them are employed by 2 to 3 very strong companies and have quite nice salaries. Trust me. I mean, they deserve them, but just I want to make clear that there are not people thinking that Bitcoin is developed for free, because it's not.
Exactly. I think we'll reach a time where we need to be careful with projects that advertise they have no funds, they haven't raised any money, or they don't have premine, or they don't have auto-sustainable way to keep the project going on. Because, guys, even in 2014, 15, 16, there was projects without premine, and when you realize they had insta mining, they have the team members mining like super blocks and hyper blocks with huge rewards per block found. For a couple of months alone, we have like people with dedicated miners, dedicated hardware, mining in secret mining. We have seen so much in the ecosystem, in the crypto space. Why not like to be transparent and have like a community with a plan and funds to keep coin live and safe and sound? And that's what we have been doing in this last couple of years. And even if we have an emergency, it can help us like it helped in the past. So before we recovered like the Maple Change funds, we had already from the community funds like some funds available like to help our community. So we ended up not using those funds because we managed to recover the original funds on the exchange, and we helped as well a few projects, CryptoNote projects. But I think nowadays, like, transparency is everything, and the rest is on the code, and the code doesn't lie. So, and if you can confirm the terms in the code, I think there is no leeway to doubt about the intentions, because it's in the code, guys, and that's it. So there is a motto in the code we trust. So if it's in the code and you can verify it, if you can audit even the wallet, from that, after 2 years, I think we prove ourselves already as a community, and the team, like, in my opinion, is doing an amazing job, and we even are spending less funds than initial predicted. So I think we are on the right path, to be honest. And if you just join our project, our community, I think nothing to be afraid. Do your research. Learn how to audit the wallet, how to verify the funds, and stay tuned, because there is quite a lot of nice stuff coming very soon.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, 0x. Let's talk now. I think that pretty much everybody in the chat here and in the stream here knows the basics of Conceal, but can you quickly cover like what are the because right here on the screen it says banking on the blockchain, so can you cover the decentralized finance part of it quickly, just kind of overview of what that is, and then go through the private transactions and encrypted messaging? And then after that,
sure.
we'll talk about the roadmap.
Want me to cover the current of Conceal, right?
Yes.
So, we start initial as a privacy coin, pure privacy coin based on the original crypto, not the Monero fork, but based on the original CryptoNote code and white paper. And we realized that due to the nature of CryptoNote, we could have private messages or encrypted messages. And we did it. We have the encrypted messages. They are really decentralized, peer-to-peer, end-to-end encryptation, serverless, and censorship resistant. So have been used in a few places around the globe in, let's say, in dangerous times. And they prove work. They prove to be censorship resistant and to be efficient. So we are doing improvements constantly on the messaging system. But let's say there is two sides of the messages. One is permanent messages, the blockchain that people are using to, let's say, store critical data in the blockchain. Then there are self-destructive messages. So we don't know the content, what people are how people are using it, but analyzing the chain, we are sure people are using it. So using the message later on, like something like it was something like the community wanted since day one, even before we launched the coin. It was the to have like thinking, but they wanted like as simple as traditional bank. So you go to your bank, you deposit your funds, and after 1 year you come back and pick up the interest rate that you earn. So after analyzing the structure and the protocol and the way CryptoNote works, we realize we can use hash time lock contracts, and we can lock an amount, generate the interest rate on that block, on the mature block, where when the contract comes to an end. And why not to have deposits on the blockchain? That will be the real banking on the blockchain, be your own bank. And that's how we started. So we start as privacy coin. We have encrypted messages. Later on, we added the deposits. It's a constant work because remember, this is not a web app or a desktop app where you do a change, you upload the code, people download, and that's it. No, we are talking about blockchain technology. It's like a live organism out there. Conceal, you cannot kill Conceal. Conceal is out there. So any little change requires time, requires like to be sure like thousands of computers and devices are tuned in the right code. So we're still working on deposits because we want to extend these deposits to the mobile and to the cloud wallets as well. So at the moment we only have deposits on the desktop. But this is to the nature of the complexity of having a blockchain. It's something like you cannot make it instantly working. You're gonna need to have it verified for all the nodes in the network. I'm talking about quite a lot of high number of machines. So and in the meantime, we have developed quite a Conceal Pay, where if you are a merchant, you can easily charge your customers Conceal. You can send bills, you can ask for money, you can request money, you can have a link to get donations in CCX. Then we realize our main goal is to make blockchain technology and decentralization accessible to anyone in the world. So why not let's try it with alias, trying short names instead long addresses. So we implemented Conceal ID that we keep working on to improve. And I can tell you as well, because it's public, we are working in a card, going to be a contactless card using near field communication technology, where you can just tap a device and pay in CCX. This could not make much sense now because we have been criticized. It's a little bit realistic, because who is willing to accept CCX? But the truth is already on the works. I've been working with a few more team members on the Conceal platform, where we're gonna have a platform dedicated to business. And not only corporate, because when I say business, most of the people think about corporations. No, man. Even that agricultor that have some potatoes or oranges and go to the local market belongs to a small community. They can have their own system. They can have their own coin working on. Okay, you launch a fashion brand. You cannot compete with the big names, but yeah, you can still have your loyalty coin or loyalty points running over Conceal. And Conceal, the real one, the CCX, will be the ticket to access that platform. That platform and all the services that can run over it. We are doing massive development. In this case, I will say research, not properly development, in communications. We would like to improve communications as well, and that will be text, audio, who knows, maybe video. So we are trying to bring back privacy, serverless, centralized, private ways of giving privacy back to people, because the end two backdoors we have currently, they don't bring anything good to people. Basically, there is always a price to pay. So we are working right now on that as well. And why we are working in a messenger communication app, or why we are working in the platform, why we are working in the card, why are we implementing deposits on the mobile. All this is voted by the community. If you go to check the archive of the last consensus, everything is documented. So there is a track record of everything I'm speaking. So that's the kind of commitment we as a core members, we as a team, need to honor with the community. So and I think I have covered everything, and I only spoke about what is real, what we have, and what we are working. So I'm not telling you a dream or trying to sell a future product. No, I'm telling you about what we are already working and what we are developing. So amazing times ahead. It's been quite a couple of years already, but as you can see, we don't stop. This project is constantly being improved, and there is always something being worked on by the team, even by the community. Lately, we have a few people contributing, pushing some comments, helping with translations, even finding some bugs and errors and some typos in the website. So it's been quite dynamic lately, and I feel great with this kind of feedback, even if and it is not the feedback we were expecting. Like, it's good. It's good to know like people are tuned, people are sensible to what we are doing. People care about us. That's a good feeling.
All right, very cool. I am looking at the, I don't know if you can see it yet, but I'm looking at the roadmap right now, and it looks like next up is going to be, now obviously things change as far as, you know, when it's released or whatever, but it looks like the next big thing is going to be deposits on cloud and mobile. And that's something that has been in the regular wallet for a long time, since the beginning, and it's looking like you're getting pretty close to having them on cloud and mobile as well. Is that still on track?
Yes, definitely is on track. Is on track, and we have the know-how. We have already everything we need to do, but basically, 20% of our time is developing, is coding, and 80% is testing. And why is taking so long? It's taking so long because when you use a mobile or a cloud, you are using a random remote node. You need to make sure everything is safe and sound. You need to make sure funds are SAFU. So you cannot risk to lose someone else's funds, even if you are using a decentralized environment. Even if you are using the MAT, decentralized finance. Look what happened to a few protocols and projects. They lost millions. No, so we don't have, I think, anyone using Conceal like to store millions at the moment. But we would like to do things right. You need to be sure, even if you are using a remote node, your deposits are safe. Even if you are using a Chinese cheap phone, like to make sure smartphone, to make sure things gonna work well. And that's why we are taking so long to make sure things are done properly, that is safe to store or out for your hard-earned money that app. That's why it's taking longer, but will not take much longer. We are nowhere to honor our time deadline commitments with the community. So by end of Q3 of 2020, we're gonna have deposits on the cloud and the mobile wallet.
All right, so we covered deposits on cloud and mobile. You're going to have also self-destructing messages, it looks like, on cloud and mobile also, and multi-signature wallets, hardware wallet support. Is this going to be for like ledgers and things like that?
Yes. We have a team member working on it, but we still need to plan because we have limited resources. We cannot work in everything at the same time. And right now we are already working on the card. We are working on Conceal platform to have an idea. So, and we have like a messenger app, communications app, like being baked as well. And so we have too much going on. So we try to plan as much as possible. And when we commit ourselves to put a date on the website roadmap, it means it's gonna be done by that time. So, and all the other ones, like they're gonna be done, like hardware wallet support, Conceal card, Conceal platform. But at this moment, we cannot assure you how long it's gonna take. So we don't want to take risks, like to give too much time or to give a short period of time, and then we will not have a product. So, and we have so much things in hands right now that we cannot plan too much in advance. We used to do it at the beginning. We planned for 3 or 4 years, but the truth is things change quite a lot. What people want right now, after 2 years, we start the project in terms of extra features is quite different from what people thought that it was the right thing 2 years ago. 2 years ago, when we start talking about decentralized economy, decentralized finance, people thought we were crazy, totally crazy. And look now, after 2 years, like DeFi is quite like is the trend at the moment. Decentralized finance, like it looks more than a coincidence because people haven't took us serious at the time, and now is the trend of the moment, decentralized finance. So regarding the loans, and then there is a timeline. There are a few things you cannot put in front of other key features. And you cannot implement deposits without having the demo and the wallet improvements. So basically, you have the simple wallet software and you have the wallet daemon that is used by exchanges, is used by remote nodes, is used by anyone running applications to access the chain or to interact with the mainnet. So that's why this timeline, and it could be changed in the future, but at the moment is our plan. That's what we have planned. Said so we need to do the improvements on the wallet daemon to add deposits to the wallet daemon. We are almost done with that phase. Then we just need to add the AP calls to the cloud and mobile, and we're gonna have deposits working on cloud and mobile, and the same for the self-destructive messages. So we have them on the desktop wallet, but we still don't have it on the mobile, and that's gonna be life-changing for the project, because once you have them working on mobile, attending the number of devices globally, like 80% of the users are using mobiles right now. We believe that's gonna bring gonna increase adoption in terms of texting with Conceal. And the good thing for self-destructive, we they are really cheap. They are really cheap, and we are even consider it depends of the timelines. But if we decide to launch dedicated app just for communications or messaging, we might put the messages, the self-destructive, free, but we still need to check with the community how we're gonna deal with that. So there are a few things in the roadmap that they still need to pass the community consensus filter. So because it's not just the team deciding, no, all the community must participate. So that's why the timeline, some of the items, some of the goals we have, they still have to be announced. They still need to be worked on inside the community. I think I covered all the roadmap. I even didn't have the roadmap in front of me, but I'm assessing it now, and I think I covered everything. And the last, not the least, collateralized loans. Initially, we thought to adapt the hash time lock contracts to a lending system, but we realized it will be better to do it on the Conceal platform, because if you do it on the mainnet, you are doing it over, and if you need to facilitate the loans, you need to allow people to have collateral in other assets. So to have a good lending system, you have to have at least 2 or more assets that people can use to collateralize their loans.
All right, awesome. Thanks for going over the roadmap. That clears up a lot of questions that some people had, I believe, I would imagine. So let's see, we've been going for an hour and a half. Let's go ahead and look at some questions from the viewers, if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah, definitely, we can take some questions. And because I spoke so much, like I can opportunity to other team members to speak a little bit as well. Thank you.
No problem, no problem. So we had a question from Techman TY. He said, can CCX be mined on 4 gig NVIDIAs? You probably already answered this, but I just want to put it out there for the community that is just getting into the stream or whatever. So can CCX be mined on 4 gig NVIDIAs or RX 570? I looked RX 570 up and it should be possible. Yeah, I do the RX 570s, but I believe that the 4 gig models are fine, right? Because you can CPU mine it, so it should work on pretty much all GPUs, right? Modern GPUs.
Yes, the 4 gigabyte AMD and NVIDIA cards are perfectly fine. I'm not now 100% sure, but I think you can also mine on 3 and 2 gigabyte cards. I think it should work, you know. We are having really low specs for mining because, as you said, you can mine on CPUs without any problem. You probably won't get good hash rates if you don't have any monster CPUs, but it will work, you know.
Right on. The next question, I was trying to see who it was actually from. I think it started with a K. Hang on a second. Quibus. Looks like the question is, there's been a lot of manipulation on the market. I know that I always tell my viewers this. Like, I don't really like talking about the valuation of a project, really, because it's almost not that important. But there are investors, there are people that want to, all of us want to see it go up in value, right? USD value, fiat value, right? We all want to see that, but it's not really that important if you understand that, like some of the Bitcoiners say this, they'll say one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin no matter what, right? And I kind of feel the same way with most cryptocurrency projects, unless you are investing to make money, and there are people out there that are doing that, or if you're trading. But the question is, from Quibus, there has been a lot of manipulation on the market lately about CCX. Is the team worried about that at all?
Yeah. Go ahead, Bruce.
That's a good question. And like I said, when I first started, I ended up mining, CPU mining, would you believe that, my first CCX. And I still own that specific CCX. I have not sold any CCX from my early mining days. And I have noticed that the price has gone, we've gone through kind of a upswing and then a downswing. And there has been some, suppression of price, I've noticed. And one thing that I always look back to is how much is available. And what I mean by how much is available, what is the circulating supply? And when you start to understand the circulating supply, it almost appears as if people are trying to suppress the price to continue to be able to buy at the lowest possible price, because obviously you want to be able to control the price of CCX in order to buy as cheaply as possible. And so it's very clear if you go and look at a little bit of the activity within each exchange, as far as I've seen, that it does look like there's a little bit of price suppression happening. And again, it's a matter of controlling the circulating supply, because there's really not a lot of circulating supply out there. When you go look at the amount that is circulating, you have to remember that part of that balance is what we have locked for our operating fund. So if you take that chunk off, there's really about 5 million out there, 5 something million that's actually circulating. And we have a lot of large investors in CCX, I'd imagine, because again, that's all of the circulating supply. The rest of that is locked away, and so it's very possible that you have some larger accounts trying to continue to push that price down to amass as much of the supply as possible. So you have to be very careful about what price points you're willing to sell your CCX, again, because if you study the economics behind it, it would be to the advantage of those hoarding it or buying a bunch of it to hold it for some time, because they're able to buy it at such cheap prices right now, and that investment will pay off 10, 20 times in 5 to 6 years. So again, it's just a matter of the person who's patient with their investment, as opposed to someone who is not. And so as far as what you're seeing in price right now, at least my suspicion is that's what's happening.
Yeah, probably. And I mean, all markets in crypto are manipulated. If you are following what's happening with Bitcoin, I mean, there's also a lot of manipulation. All these futures markets, where people are constantly goaded into longing or shorting, and then basically the market is manipulated to go up or down, so they are liquidated, and you have huge whales manipulating the price. And this is so much true for small cap or micro cap projects, so this is the reality, and you cannot avoid that. But does CCX has any special additional manipulation? I don't know. I think it has. I would not put too much faith into tinfoil theories. I think CCX. We already talked about manipulation too much in the past. I mean, we should just ignore that, keep on working, and markets will come to their own ends in the end. And I don't think we have any special manipulation going on. We have a few people probably, or groups, who want to make money, or who somebody resents us and somebody wants to hurt us in some way. But in the end, it does not matter. These are free markets. People can do whatever they want. They can buy. They can sell. They can sadly even manipulate. And I mean, wasting time with this is, in my opinion, exactly that, wasting time. It can be better used for developing and putting work on the project, and that's all I have to say about that.
Of course, it hurts every time you notice someone is trying to manipulate. Even Bitcoin, the biggest crypto asset, is not immune to manipulation. It's a joke, to be honest. There is not much we can do. We have no control over the markets, and we try to be positive and focus in our work to keep improving what we have. And I had no opportunity before to say, but yeah, of course it's possible to mine CCX with 4 or 2 gigabytes boards. We have even miners. We have dedicated channels on Discord for our miners, and because we have a big percentage of the community mining coin, and we have even people posting their specs and their hash rates, their performance in terms of hash rate and of energy. And there is a great member of our community, like you all know it, Geomar X7, he's saying with 4 RX 470 in one rig, and in another one he has 7 RX 550 with 2 gigs. in the power in the wall is 355 watts. So as we said before, when we cover the mining and the block rewards, like spectrum of cards that you can use to mine CCX is bigger than most. I even could say like in like, all the crypto nodes together, but at least we are sure we are one of the mining algos covering or FPGA resistance as well. So I think in terms of mining algorithm, we have something that we made thinking in the miners. So we made it as a miners because any of us been mining Conceal for these last 2 years. That's it. Sorry for stepping in with this issue.
No, it's fine. I love hearing from you guys, especially on the mining side. Quibus also has a question about marketing. You kind of already covered this in the breakdown of the fund that is available, because I think that's one of the options in there. Has to do with community involvement and things like that. But he says, Quibus says, Conceal is a great project, but behind on marketing and currently has a small but good community that has to grow. Is the team aware of that? I'm sure you are. And if so, what are your plans for fixing it, I guess, so to speak, as far as the marketing and getting out there? Now, personally, here's what I kind of want to say this. I think that this right here is part of that, in my opinion. This is like, hey, we're going to now be a little bit more out there and do these types of live streams or interviews or whatever. So
Yeah, actually, I would like to answer that because, I'm the actually head of marketing at the moment. As you said, like this kind of live streams and, the exposure and stuff. I think it's our first English interview right now for 2 years. But I think we will continue to do that more frequently. I can say that. Actually, I also had an interview in a Turkish channel, YouTube channel, before you. So, it's a really good way to connect with the community and stuff. But people usually, what people don't understand is that marketing is like the 90% of money, like it's equals money. So, our funds right now in CCX, and most of the time when marketing like expenses are in USD dollars or in BTC. So when you are like when you have to manage your funds carefully, you can't just spend money like crazy to marketing. So in that point, we really need the support of our community. And actually, our community is doing good at the moment. When I compare it to I'm usually checking the statistics from like our social media sources and stuff, and we are really doing good when we compare it to other projects like similar projects with us. But still, we need to be like more exposed in different markets, like in US, in Europe, in Asia, like in China, for example. So we are working on to improve that. And along with and also we are always talking about it, like you can't hype something that we don't want to be a hype coin. Actually, you can. We don't want to hype something that we are not working on, that we are not we are not going to do. So we always want to focus on the things we already achieved and what we will do in the near future, like in real things, like working stuff. Because I see that most of the crypto market is about like empty hype, and we don't want to be part of that because ethically I believe that it's not true. So I can maybe this answers the question.
Yeah, that was a
About
good
the
answer. I just really don't like to
Something
see don't like to see projects misleading. Sorry to overstep you there, Boots. Go ahead.
Just to add to what Okan was saying, so something that we have discussed internally about marketing, and this is something that, once I was added, as well as Hash was added, we have new strategies that we're going to be doing to be able to market to areas where we haven't marketed before. And, we've been doing marketing within the same cryptosphere as every other coin and every other crypto. And that's going to change for us. So we're doing things that are outside of the cryptosphere, and also creating new technologies that don't necessarily fall within the cryptosphere. And these things will bring more name recognition to Conceal. There's stuff that we can't obviously talk about, the stuff that's cutting edge, but definitely on the marketing side, we're looking at doing stuff outside of the cryptosphere to bring in new people. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times you see a lot of the marketing happening within the same cryptosphere that everybody else is marketing in. And we've changed some strategies there to do marketing outside of that environment. And so I think you're starting to see a little bit of a change to some of the stuff that we've done in the past, and with the live streams in multiple languages. And that's the other thing is, because we do have people from all over the world. When we say we have to market, it's not just in one language, and it's not just in one environment. We have to be able to cater for people in Turkey, for people in China, for people in the United States and Mexico. And so when we say marketing, it has to be able to cover multiple areas in the world, because we're not just in one area. And so to do that, it does require a little bit more planning, and we have to be more strategic in how we spend our funding.
Exactly, because as Boot said, I feel also that in crypto, everybody is basically circling the same old circle, the same old people, that are in from the old bull run, and there were very little new people entering. Basically, no retail investors, because most of them got burned at the last peak, So it's very important. And also, Conceal is going for, the long-term plan for Conceal is adoption, So not just building something that nobody uses in the end, and only speculative investors buy, but something that is going to be used by people that are not necessarily even aware of crypto and what crypto means. So we are preparing some products right now that will aim exactly at those kind of audience, that will basically we will try to sell them as the products, not as something crypto related. Yes, in the end, they will be branded as Conceal products, and they will have integrated Conceal as a payment, tipping, or basically monetary option. But at their heart, there will be products that are not exactly crypto related, not monetary related. And this is why, as Boot said, we're also trying to build marketing in the way that we are going to market people that are not necessarily in crypto each and every day, that they are not speculative traders. I think if we can do that, if we can cut this circle that goes around and around all the time, I think we are on the right path in this case. This is the idea. It's not easy to do this. Don't get me wrong. It's a long and hard road, but we'll try to do it, and time will tell if we'll be successful or not.
Yeah, I agree 100%. There's a lot of projects out there that are realizing now that they are basically solving a problem that someone else has already solved. And I think it's hard not to do that with thousands of other projects out there. So it's significant that the products and the feature set that you guys are working on kind of stands out, and because you are focused on that non-cryptosphere audience, that's significant. I really, that's good to hear.
Yeah, because like I said on the live chat, like fishing in the same pond won't work, because in the end, if you want people to use crypto, like not just Conceal, I mean in general, crypto, we should be advertising our product to like newbies, like ordinary people, like average Joes, or else we will be just fishing in the same pond, and it will not increase any like awareness or like increase any like I don't know. It won't be beneficial for us, because or else we will be just keep circling around the speculators or manipulators. Like we really need to get the adoption, and the adoption is making the coin to like enable it to ordinary people, like to use. Like that's why we are actually like I would like to focus on mobile a lot. I'm also saying that in team meetings, that because the usage of like mobiles, like mobile wallets and stuff, it's really high, and it's a true way to adoption. I really think that that's a very important thing, and that's why I'm like really waiting eagerly for deposits on mobile and cloud. So I think it will increase our adoption a lot. And actually, we are like also working on something cool at the moment on mobile as well. I think it will increase the adoption a lot as well.
Okay, I don't know if you could get away with that easy. So what is it that we're working on here? Or are you not going to be able to say anything?
I mean, on the mobile, you mean?
Yeah.
We're working on the mobile. We're working on two things. One is as Okan said, one is the mobile deposits. Basically, it will come at the same time because, as you already said in your streams, the mobile uses the cloud wallet as the wallet it uses for operating, and it's basically a graphical user interface for that cloud wallet on the mobile. So when this is done, we will have deposits on the cloud and mobile. And the other thing is, we are striving for because you already said in your streams, the mobile uses the. Oh, he's having I'm having the echo. So the other thing is, we want the mobile wallet to be as easy to use as possible. Now on the mobile, you don't want to use the keyboard a lot because it's very frustrating to do so. So one thing that will come out at the same time as the deposits on the mobile will be support for fingerprints and support for PIN codes and patterns. So you will have a way easier way to a lot easier way to authenticate and to send funds, because now what you have to do is to input your password every time you log in, and then input your password every time you send funds. Now, if your password is complicated, can be quite frustrating. First, you need to remember your password or type it from somewhere, and secondly, you need to use the keyboard, which is frustrating on the mobile. So if you can imagine just swiping your finger for the fingerprint, it becomes way easier. So I mean, this is one of the steps we are talking about for adoption. You have to make it so easy for the users so they are eager to use it. If you need like 10 steps or it's a hard thing to do, nobody will use it. So this is one of the things. It's like a small feature, actually. It's not like something groundbreaking, but it's a kind of usability thing that I think will help a lot with the use of mobile wallets.
Yeah, it's really good for you to be focusing on stuff like that. I think Boots wanted to say something there. You hear, Boots?
Well, it's something that maybe OX will talk a little bit about this, but the ability, like I said, to do stuff that not necessarily falls within crypto, but to have features that are more common to the normal user is something I think that we've been working on. And I'm not going to speak specifically about products, but that's something that we wanted to do to have more name recognition in the general population. So, we are doing stuff that is going to give us that name recognition. So the stuff that you are all seen and all have been using is a set of products, but then there are things that we're doing that will be outside of that.
Yeah, we maybe for us like a teaser or a spoiler, something we already were talking about recently is the what was selected in the last consensus. One of the things was the messenger, but we decided to not call it the messenger because it will not be a classic messenger. It would be pointless to compete, with things like I don't know, like Signal or maybe other already established messengers, and they also have different roles. Like what we are preparing, we would like to call Conceal communications, because it will be a way to privately communicate with basically anyone, anywhere. And what will be important is that it will be really, truly decentralized peer-to-peer tool. There will be no servers. You will be in direct contact, directly connected to the people you're talking with. So if you're talking with a group of 2 to 3 people, you will be directly connected to them. There will be no servers. What this means is that nobody can steal in case if you're doing text messaging, nobody can steal your text messages or store them or use them for anything or analyze them, like I'm sure Google and some other big companies are probably doing. And since there is no servers, there is not a single point of failure. And also, because you are using it peer-to-peer, all the history is only stored on the device that you were using it on. So if you're using it on one phone, the chat will be only stored on that one phone for a single participant in the chat. So there is no, server that can be later hacked, and the information leaked. And all communication will be end-to-end encrypted. And I think this will be a nice product that, as Boot said, is not basically crypto related. It's a messenger. It's a communication tool. I don't want to use the word messenger. It's a communication tool. And as far as I have seen on different forums and different social media sites, there is quite a lot of interest for this kind of product because the world is still lacking a truly peer-to-peer privacy-focused product, and we will only brand it as Conceal, and we will probably, I don't know if this will be included in at the beginning, but later for sure we will include the CCX as a means to payments as a means to payment over the messenger, the communications platform. So you will be able to send CCX to participants in the chat or participants in the voice call or anything like that. But
CCX, sorry, and all any access available on the Conceal platform. I think you guys sum up everything we are doing. So there are a few different options in front of us right now. We are working in the base, and for the base of this new communication app, we are using only no protocols and codecs. So we are trying to incorporate audio and video, but at this moment we cannot grant that we're gonna be able to do it, because during our research we detected like sometimes internet service providers, they prioritize corporate and paid traffic and data packets with different priorities. So we are still trying to understand how we can peer network for communications, and that will be the base and the foundations of this app we are developing. At the moment, we as I said, our concern is to grant what we can grant right now is going to be serverless, peer-to-peer, end-to-end decryptation. Will not be a Signal or a Telegram fork. No, not at all. Going to be something different, and we are trying like to match the needs of our community in terms of communication with technology potential of peer-to-peer networks. We are trying to match them together, and because our blockchain encrypted messages, they are paid, and it was one of the requests from our community, it was to have a messenger where people could talk for free, and if they need to send funds or pay for a service, they will be able to do it in CCX or any other assets tied to our Conceal platform. But they would like to have a system, privacy protect, where they can communicate for free, and that's what we're working. So we have the foundation of that future app, but we are exploring several different ways that we have in front of us. We can go fully text, but that will not bring anything new at the moment because you have already peer-to-peer end-to-end decryptation that you can audit or you can clone or reply. And there are already like a few apps like that can do the job, and with massive, I will say, market already. And then there are other options that we are exploring, like audio. So let's say do a audio call in a serverless environment, totally end-to-end decryption, and video as well. So, but for that, we need to finish the foundation, and having something that be run by nodes. First, we need to have all the software and needed for the network, and anything else will be developed added on top of that network. And as my colleagues well said, not running on the CCX blockchain, going to be something independent, because we would like to allow as well everyone participating in the future Conceal platform to be able to have their own assets running in the communication software. And why we are doing this? Because we are aware about several autonomous communities, not only in Europe but in several different places of the world. But they have already their own monetary system, like to trade organic product, for instance, and their local economy. And we would like to allow all these people to participate network as well. So that's one of the reasons to keep the messenger communication software independent from the blockchain. But as I said, any asset from the Conceal platform is going to be available in this messenger. So people are going to be able to charge for services or products via messenger. But at the moment, as Taegus well said, what we can grant to people is peer-to-peer, decentralized, censorship-resistant, and end-to-end encryptation, free and open source, community-driven, and at the moment is what we can assure you that software gonna have. Those options that we can add up. Maybe we call that audio or video, still researching, and that's it. And maybe mesh networks to communicate even if you don't have access to internet. But that are only options that we are researching. We are still researching. So that's how much we can disclosure at the moment. And if you would like to get more information, stay tuned, because as soon as we are ready to share with the community, we're gonna do it, and we do it regularly. Always is a matter of staying tuned in our Discord or other social media, and we'll get there. Thank you.
All right, that's great. Yeah, that's really fascinating that you are looking at doing the messaging outside of the actual blockchain platform, because there are a lot of projects or other projects out there that use that method. They use their own blockchain, their own nodes, and all that stuff for the messaging aspect of it, and it kind of limits the customers because you have to be involved in that whole blockchain thing in order to use those services. So that's fascinating that you're looking at doing it that way.
As I said, Savage.
Can I say just one sentence? Yeah, to answer Savage. I mean, at the moment, you are obliged to explain the blockchain, and at the moment you start to use the word blockchain with your product that you want to introduce to the masses, you have lost. You need to do it the other way around. Like with what we are trying to do, we are trying to make a product for communications that you could use without knowing anything about blockchain, anything about like what Conceal actually is. I mean, you will know that it's a Conceal communications tool, but that's all you need to know. The main point is you want users to use it for the product for what it is, to enable them to communicate easily. And later, when they actually dive deep into it and they want to use some advanced features and they want to tip people and they want to use all the other products you have, you already have them hooked and they will start using and start exploring the Conceal ecosystem. But if you want them to start using it, you don't want to put hurdles in front of them. So yeah, I think that projects that do it the other way around are doing it wrong, but this is just my opinion.
Basically, we are opening our economic ecosystem to outsiders, to people that knowing or don't knowing blockchain are bringing on board to our economic side. So beside all the technology involved, the blockchain, the mining, there's people that can still use CCX without being directly involved with blockchain or mining. And what we are trying with this software and a few other applications we're gonna do in the future, because community suggested a browser as well and other things. For now, let's focus on this communications app. So what we are trying is opening our economic ecosystem to be used by the general public in an initial phase by some small autonomous community for a solution to have their own monetary system for several different reasons, ideology, politics, whatever. So there is a niche for this market. And on a second phase, a posteriori, what we're gonna try is to get to the general public. So we're gonna try to bring like commerce, business, shops, merchants on board, and all these different apps and pieces will be part of a big puzzle. And the big puzzle is the Conceal ecosystem, where you have the deposits, the blockchain, the mining, and you have Conceal Pay, you have the message, everything gonna be unified and connected to Conceal CCX. Basically, gonna be the blood of all the vessels, all body, live organism, and that's the big picture. So its entire ecosystem is not only a blockchain or a privacy coin, or a proof of work coin. No, its entire ecosystem, economically speaking, that's gonna have real applications, and that's our main goal.
Right on. Excellent stuff, guys. We've been going for 2 hours. I think we probably should start wrapping up. I don't think we have any more questions. I think all the questions have been answered. This has been super awesome. I really appreciate it. If anybody has any more questions, be sure to get them over there really quick, because I think that we're gonna wrap this up and get like a last word from the team, and then we'll go from there.
I'll go ahead and start. Savage, I just want to say thank you for hosting us on our anniversary. It means a lot to us, to have your support. And I'm a miner at heart, and I've watched your show, just about every single one, even the ones that are not Conceal. And I think you do a fantastic job of at least teaching about mining and helping people understand how to get started. So for me, I appreciate your time, and thank you for having us.
It's an honor, man. Truly.
Yeah, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity, and we are glad to have you as a member of our community and to see you around. And it's always a pleasure when you are around, and it's awesome every time. Every time I go to YouTube, to your channel, and I watch a video about Conceal, and your enthusiasm with mining and the care you give to your rigs and followers, so amazing, super awesome. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
It's truly my honor, man.
I would also like to thank you, Savage, for having us, and thank everyone for coming and listening to the stream. And it was an honor to be here.
Yeah, the same here. Thank you a lot for this opportunity, and I'm really glad that you did that as a also community member. It's good to see you around. Like everyone said, as a old miner, like ex-miner, I really enjoy your show, and thanks for the support and everything, man.
Oh, no problem. Hash, you got anything to say? You've been super quiet.
I think he had to leave. He still has, I think, the channel open, but he cannot talk at the moment, I think.
Oh, right on. Okay, I got it. All right, so if there are no more questions for the team, I think we're going to end it right here. This has been really awesome, and thanks for everybody that tuned in and is checking this out. We had about 40 viewers, I think 42 at the most, and yeah, this has been really an awesome experience, and I really appreciate you guys coming on and explaining the project. And I think we've got a few new potential CCX miners in here, so that's cool to see. And I think this is a good platform, a good system for you guys to use, the live stream.
Yeah, definitely we're gonna try to do it in the future. In my case, like I needed to improvise a parabolic disc to be able to connect to the internet, but that's it. That's another story. But definitely we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it more often in the future. But for this first team interview, we decide we must do it with Savage, definitely, because like his passion for mining the project, and it's amazing. So he deserves like our first interview, definitely. And that's it.
All right, thanks so much, guys. I've got up here on the screen, I've got the ways to contact you guys. If anybody's more interested and want to find out more about CCX or Conceal, just go to Conceal.Network. I'll paste that into the chat just to make sure we document it. And then you click on contact, and there's all kinds of different contact methods down here for contacting the team, getting support, and all that kind of thing. I think they're mostly active on Discord and Telegram. Twitter is pretty active as well. I don't know if you guys do any kind of support through Twitter, but
at the moment, we don't offer Twitter support. Like we have online form. We give support by email as well. CCX at Conceal.Network. Or the best way is to have support by the entire community. So for that, you just need to align to Discord or public Discord server, and that's it. It's open to anyone. Thank you.
all right, really awesome stuff, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on, and I will.
It's been fun, man. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, this is awesome. I'll see you guys next time.
Next time, thank you.
No problem,
See
guys.
you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for coming on. I'm having to look like way up there because it's on my TV. So, all right, I'm going to disconnect from the call there. That'll be the end of that. And yeah, this has been really awesome. Super excited. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream though, because we've been going for 2 hours and 15 minutes almost. That's a long time. Taking up a lot of your time, but this has been super informative. There were things about Conceal that I learned that I didn't even know, and I followed the project pretty closely. So it was really cool to hear things that I wasn't even aware of. Yeah, it's good stuff. I will probably not be live the rest of the weekend. It'll probably be Monday, most likely. And I will see you guys then. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and all that stuff that you're supposed to do. And go learn something about Conceal if you haven't already. I know Unknown Crypto, I can do it. I can do a 4-hour stream, no problem. But yeah, it hurts. It hurts the channel a little bit whenever I go long like that. So I will see you guys next time. It'll probably be Monday, like I was saying. And I just want to say thanks to everybody. Thanks to Conceal team. You guys are awesome. Stay savage, everybody.